Hello! Thank you for tuning in today for our Instagram Live, all about keeping wrappers out of landfills. So we have two very special guests that will be joining. We have Tom Szaky, the CEO and founder of Terracycle, and we also have Rebecca Rusch, one of our amazing athletes and also a Terracycle angel. So hold tight while I invite both of them to join this live.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Tom. Thanks for joining. Doing great. How are you?
Doing really well. Such a pleasure to be here. Thanks for hosting.
Yes, we are so excited. So we have Rebecca Rusch, who will also be jumping on as well. And while we wait for her to join, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who's joining. This year, 2021, marks our 6-year partnership with Terracycle. And a little background on GOO, if all of you aren't aware, we are a family-owned business, and we're based right in Berkeley, California. We're really proud because we actually manufacture all of our gels right in our office, and we have solar panels on top of our office. So when you reach for a gel, just know that you have the power of the sun behind you. And also, when you reach for a gel or any of our other delicious products, know that we can make sure that we can help keep these out of landfill. So our big mission is to feed the need to move at GOO. And oh, Rebecca says she's here. Hang on one second. All right, Rebecca, accept this request and we'll be good to go. Yay, hey, Rebecca, we got the dream team together. Welcome. So I was just giving an overview about GOO, and I wanted to also dive into our core values because all of our business decisions that we make, we think about 6 different things. We think about athleticism, obviously. We like to fuel all of your athletic performances, accountability, collaboration, innovation, longevity, and love. And here today on this Instagram Live, I really want to talk a lot about accountability because we pioneered the energy gel back in 1993, and we know that we helped athletes have this simple way to carry their fuel with them. We've also created a lot of waste along the way, unfortunately. So here's where Terracycle comes in. Here's where Rebecca, our wonderful Terracycle angel, comes in as well. And as I mentioned, it's our 6th year of our partnership, and we have already upcycled nearly 2 million packets in the last 6 years. So that is actually the equivalent of almost 20 upcycled playgrounds. So without further ado, I'm going to intro our wonderful guests. So as I mentioned, we have Tom from Terracycle. He is the founder and CEO, a global leader in the collection of repurposing of complex waste streams, just like our foil packets. Tom and Terracycle have received hundreds of social and environmental business awards and recognitions from a range of organizations, including the United Nations, World Economic Forum, Schwab Foundation, Fortune Magazine, Time Magazine, U.S. Chamber of Commerce. They are really helping brands like us find a solution to not keeping so much waste out there. And without further ado, we have Rebecca. Rebecca Rusch is the queen of pain with a heart of gold. Whether she's on a cycling expedition in a remote part of the world or teaching others at her namesake Gravel Bike Academy in Idaho, she is inspiring people to be their best with energy, positivity, and passion. She's a professional athlete, 7-time world champion, mountain bike Hall of Famer, author of Rush to Glory, Emmy Award winner of Blood Road, and she also has a nonprofit, the Be Good Foundation, which we'll talk about a little more. But speaking of talking, too much for me. I can't wait to let our guests take this over. So Tom, I'm going to start with you. Could you give us a little overview of Terracycle? So your mission is to eliminate waste. What inspired you to start Terracycle? And can you tell us a little bit more about how it got to where it is today?
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, what an honor to be with you guys today. And thank you everyone who's joined this conversation as well and being a part of the discussion. So yeah, 20 years ago, we started Terracycle out of my dorm room. And I was really inspired to try to create a business that put purpose first and tried to attain that at a profit, sort of redefining the role of profit from being the reason of being for many companies. That's how it was taught, at least in school, to an indicator of health. You know, if you're profitable, you can grow, you can flourish, you can be healthy. And that's been the essence of what Terracycle has been since the very beginning. You know, today, fast forward almost 2 decades, we operate nationally in 22 countries around the world, 2 as a nonprofit, India and Thailand. The balance is a mission-driven for-profit. And we're all about, as you said, this idea of how do we eliminate the idea of waste. And that comes like in the work we're doing together with GU now. It's amazing, 6 years, since 2015, over 3,500 collection locations have brought in those almost 2 million packages that have been recycled. It's all about how do we help bring these type of programs, recycling for things that are not yet able to be recycled in municipal systems. We also think about how do we help companies make things from recycled material, and most recently even launched a platform on how do we help shift to reusables where that may be appropriate. So it's, I think, you know, the answer to this is how do we really rethink the role of waste and give it purpose, give it value, and then have folks participate to be a part of the whole solution.
Amazing. Yes, we're so proud to be a part of this. And Rebecca, as a new Terracycle angel, do you have any tips for us? And just, I guess before I hand the mic over to you, so everyone knows, we can collect any type of single serve packaging. It's not just goo. When I talked about accountability, we want to be accountable for that entire waste stream. So whether you're having a gel, a liquid energy, our newest product, a stroopwafel, recovery drink, Rocktail energy drink, single serve tabs. We give these out at events. Maybe you've seen them. You know, single serve electrolyte capsules, anything in film packaging. And like I said, any brand. We want to make sure that we are finding a second life for all of these wrappers to live. So, Rebecca, what kind of tips do you have for people to start collecting wrappers?
Yeah, and I want to say I'm glad you mentioned that about any wrappers being able to be recycled through Terracycle, because I get that question all the time. They're like, oh, well, it's a goo program and I have X brand wrapper. It doesn't matter, which is great. Well, Terracycle will take it all. And I think that that's really cool. And it kind of shows such a great collaboration with goo and Terracycle, is that it doesn't matter. You guys want to just, you know, do the right thing and repurpose this packaging no matter where it comes from. And for me, so tips, and you know, it's funny, we all recycle at home, and for some reason we're out on the bike, we're in nature, we're doing these beautiful things, and you don't really think about taking your trash that's in your pocket and recycling it back at home. And so some tips that I've had, and I've always kind of organized my goo nutrition this way, is, you know, in my right jersey pocket or my right pocket of my hydration pack, I always have the full, you know, packages. And once I eat them, the empty packages go in my left. And I've always done that just for organization, for my own racing, and just so I'm not like, how much food do I have left? What's left? So I've always organized my empty packages in the left side. So I've kind of been doing that for a while, but also what's really easy is that then you can, when you get back to your car or your house or your aid station or whatever, you can just reach in that one pocket, grab the whole handful. And there's a couple of things. One, it keeps it all organized. All your trash is right there. It's ready to go. But I also kind of look for those who are really working on their nutrition, you know, nutrition habits for performance, is you can kind of see, oh, I did a 5-hour ride. Oh, this is what I ate. This is how many packages I have left. And you're like, oh, I didn't eat enough, or I nailed my nutrition. So it's kind of this nice way to organize, one, to educate yourself on your nutrition, but keep your wrappers all in one place. And then at home, I just have a bin just near our recycling bin. Same for your cans or whatever, and we just keep it all there, and it's just a little bucket and it all goes in there. So I think one of the keys is the organization while you're on the ride, but the other key is having a place set up like your regular recycling at home, where you're just going to put this stuff. Otherwise you're like, oh, I really should do it, but I don't know where to put it, and then you have a bunch of empty wrappers all around the house and it's not organized. So just dedicate a place for it at home. Dedicate a place in your car. Like if you go to the trailhead, you've got your ride stuff, you've got your shoes, your helmet, you know, your full nutrition is always organized. So I just have a bag in there. Actually, I have a little screw top plastic canister thing, and that just kind of is in my ride bag. So pretty easy, just takes a little bit of forethought. But it always makes me really happy when I'm like, oh, I ate 10 packages. I'm going to send those off to Terracycle. I'm like, how many playgrounds can we make?
Yes.
But you're surprised. It adds up really fast. If you're a lifelong athlete, we're eating a lot of that kind of stuff on the bike, in the hills, skiing, whatever it is. But organization and then having a dedicated spot at home to put it. Those are kind of my little tips.
Yes, I love those tips, and you're right. It really is all about starting a new habit. As easy as it was to just not, oh, here's a trash bin, throw them here. Like you said, I love the idea of like keeping something in your car. That's what I normally do. I just have like a plastic bag I throw in the back of my car. And if I'm
Yeah.
out riding or running with friends, I'm the little angel. I'm like, come on, everybody, throw your wrappers in here. And I collect all from there. And also like when I'm traveling, if I do, if I bring a Roctane drink packet, I eat my gel, yum. And then I can just put that wrapper in here. And I have like a little pouch that I can then put, travel back with. And then when I have this whole thing full, I can just put it in any box to ship back to Terracycle. And I know one thing we didn't get to yet, but the cool thing about this program is it's absolutely free. It's funded by GOO. So saving all of your wrappers and creating your free Terracycle account online, we fund the shipping of it to Terracycle. So we give you a free UPS label to print out. You can either schedule a pickup or drop it off at a UPS location, and it's just as easy as that. So appreciate all of those tips. Another tip I have too, like our big recovery pouches. When I'm done with one of these, I use this to shove all of my wrappers in it as well. And I love that tip about talking about, okay, let's see how many calories I had after I exercised, when you grab everything out of your pockets. I did that when I was training for my last marathon, and I kept everything in one spot. I was blown away when I dumped it all on the table to look at it before. I was like, wow, this 12-week training block, I ate 2 pounds of wrappers. And that's just me as one individual. So these are just like ways that we can help think about how easy it can be to just start this new habit. Okay, well, Tom, I have another question for you. So
Shoot. Yeah.
this year, one of our goals at GOO is really to get more retailers involved as drop-off
Yes.
points. Do you have any other brands that have Terracycle brigades that you would talk about, like the success points with successful retail drop-off points, or case studies you want to share to encourage run shops, bike shops, outdoor shops that carry GOO, how easy it is to just start your own collection there?
Yeah, absolutely. And but I love the tips that you guys are sharing. And if you have a big enough bag like the one that you were showing earlier, you can even just put the shipping label on that and ship it right in. If you don't want to put it into a car. Yeah, absolutely right. I also want to highlight, it's really important to note that while these programs focus on, the primary goal is on how do we recycle things. It's we've been doing a lot of work on, what is the effect on climate change on the programs, and it turns out even with national mail-in programs like the one GOO funds here, it's 50 to 75% better from a from a global warming or carbon emissions point of view than if we're even just properly disposing the wrappers. Because a big part of the impact in the world is about making new things, and by recycling wrappers, we're eliminating the need for all this new material to be made. Now, to your question, we're really excited. There's already 42 retail locations collecting, and we've seen a phenomenal support from retailers collecting all types of waste. One really exciting example is, we just had the Olympics in Japan, and across 2,000 retail stores in Japan, a year, well, really 2 years, because the Olympics delayed, by a year. For 2 years, all the citizens in Japan were asked to collect hard to recycle waste streams that were not locally recyclable. And all that waste was turned into really high-end 3D printing filament. And so every Olympic podium in the Tokyo Olympics was made by our team at Terracycle Japan from all this really hard to collect waste. So it was a really fun moment where the people literally built the podium that the athletes had a chance to stand on. And you're going to see this repeat at other Olympics coming up, whether in China or Paris or Milan and so on. And I think, a big part of what makes it so exciting for retailers to take part is that it's a great way to become a part of closing the loop on these products. It helps folks come back and really sort of complete that entire journey, and it's really, really easy to do. Really thanks to the generous funding from GOO, everything is free, and it's not just free. There's also even money raised for your favorite charity or school. So this can really be positive all the way around. It's, you know, the more retailers that sign up, absolutely the better. And we're proud that today around the world, about 250,000 retailers collect different types of waste. And so let's absolutely do more of that in this category.
Good job, Tom. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Amazing.
And like, what a great tangible example. The athletes are standing on this podium. And I love props, so I have a bunch of props to show us, thanks to Mame and Dapur and the team. But for those of you, you know, it's hard to understand. All right, so send in this big box of wrappers. What happens to it? So what happens at Terracycle is first, they will shred all the packaging down. Next, it is made into upcycled pellets. And then it is made into upcycled lumber. Did I do all of this right, Tom? So
you
like this is just a prime example of like he was like Tom was saying about the Olympic podium. This is like a brick of used goo wrappers and
that's right,
nutrition wrappers, all performance nutrition wrappers. So I think it's really helped us too as we're at events and we have this great diorama to show people what happens. That then it clicks. It's like, oh, okay, this is what's happening with all of these wrappers that I'm saving myself, dropping off at retail, and or saving at events, which is a nice segue into my next question for you, Rebecca. So not only are you an amazing athlete, but you're a race director. You're putting on an event that's coming up very quickly, Rebecca's Private Idaho. And thank you for partnering with us with our sustainability initiative and taking our race director Terracycle pledge, where you will be collecting wrappers on course. Can you tell us a little bit more about like how that will work? Will there be boxes at aid stations? Or what can we help you with too?
Yeah, I mean, Goo makes it really easy with Terracycle with bins and the signage and the information. So, you know, we communicate to our riders. We have 1,500 riders coming. Yeah, we'll have these great boxes that tells everybody what's happening. And we have a whole bunch of people coming to ride in Idaho. And our mission statement for Rebecca's Private Idaho is it's about people, purpose, and place. So connecting people, riding with a purpose, and then celebrating and embracing the beautiful places that we get to ride. And so I really feel like Terracycle and Goo fit right in with that. And I feel irresponsible if we weren't collecting everybody's wrappers, because with that many people over, whether it's 20 miles, 100 miles, there's going to be a lot of Goo consumed here. I guarantee you. So yeah, the boxes and the drop spots will be at all the rest stops, at the start, at the finish. And we actually have last time we had a competition, and you know, who could pick up the most wrappers that weren't even theirs. And so we had some people get really competitive about like, what are you going to do with that wrapper? Can I have it? Can I have it? And so people started hoarding and collecting other people's wrappers. So it actually kind of became a fun thing. And, you know, it's really not that hard to put something in this bin versus that bin. So the key was just making it easy with Goo, having the bins available, having the education, and then, you know, telling people like, can I have your wrapper? Can I have your wrapper? Oh, that's great. You ate that Goo. Can I have that wrapper, please? And you know, what would be a really cool segue is for next year's RPI, maybe we could have a podium that is made out of Terracycle wrappers.
Absolutely.
That
Let's
came
do
from
that.
our event.
Yeah.
Like, that would be a really cool story. So Tom, if you can help me do that, that would be amazing.
We're there. I mean, we getting through with the IOC and all the process. We are now like certified podium experts, and so would love to work with you guys on making some amazing podiums from Goo. But I just want to echo an important point: is this idea of a recycling program collecting for the category is a really big deal, and it's entirely the choice of the brand, you know. So it's a really bold step, you know, to say, look, it's not just about my brand, it's about how do I help the entire category. And even if a consumer is, or someone, a racer is buying a competitive product, that really goes, you know, that's really, really important. And I just want to highlight that because not all brands that work with us decide to do that. And so thank you sincerely for making recycling easy and really inclusive.
Absolutely. And thank you to you, Terracycle, for making it all happen. Yes, like I think it's great. So I'm actually here in Colorado in Leadville. We're in the midst of a number of our event sponsorships. And just to echo about collecting at events, we just shipped out 75 pounds of wrappers from 3 past events. So look at how quickly all of this adds up. And yes, I did see a comment come through. I wish all races did this. I will tell you at the end how we can get all race directors involved, even if GOO's not a sponsor on course. Like we've said, we've taken accountability and we want to make sure that everybody has this amazing free option to help divert waste. So Rebecca, we were talking a little earlier about your nonprofit, the Be Good Foundation, and this will be a twofold question. So Rebecca, I'd love for you to talk about the Be Good Foundation, and Tom, afterwards, I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about the Terracycle commitment to also help raise funds for charities, because I think this is really important too. And think about it not only personal as a personal collector, but our retailers can give back to their local communities. Our races can give back to their local communities. So yeah, let's start. We'll hear a little bit more about the Be Good Foundation.
Thanks, Celia, for asking about that. And, you know, for the person who made the comment that they wish other races would do this. So as a race director, what I would say is get on and comment, ask them, hey, have you heard about this program? Because I listen to comments from my riders, they're my customers. And so the race may not be aware of Terracycle. And so it's easy to just put a little comment on social media or to ask the race in their newsletter or their comment area or their email as like, hey, have you heard about this program? Would you implement it? It'd be really cool. And I guarantee you, you know, the race directors are listening to what you want because they want their riders to be happy and their runners to be happy. So use your voice, people listen. And then the Be Good Foundation, that is my foundation. Thank you, Celia. And Private Idaho is a fundraising event for the Be Good Foundation. And the mission statement of that, it's my own personal foundation that I launched a few years ago. And the mission is to use the bicycle as a catalyst for healing, empowerment, and evolution. And those words kind of ring true to me because that's what the bike gives to me. And it's such a connecting piece to heal communities, whether it's school kids in Africa or clearing bombs along the Ho Chi Minh Trail on bike rides that I go out there, or in Idaho here, you know, we support our local high school cycling league and our Trails Coalition. And so I've really, you know, morphed all of my riding and expeditions and projects to have a Be Good aspect to them. And it's awesome. It feels really good to be not just riding my bike and having a great time, but contributing to more bike rides in the future and to helping other people find kind of the healing joy of being on a bicycle. And I truly believe if everyone in the world rode a bicycle a couple times a week, the news would look a little different. Let's just say it that way.
I agree too.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you. And by the way, this just to share on the topic of charitable work, you know, what's amazing about the GOO recycling program is for every pound, and you just heard how easy it is to establish, you know, pounds and pounds of material after, you know, working out and racing. For every pound of waste that is sent in, as long as someone sends in at least 2 pounds, we're just trying to encourage the larger the shipments, the better, because you're dividing less shipping over that same material. So for every shipment over 2 pounds, there is $1 donated or allocated into your account, and then you can attribute that dollar to any school or charity in the country. And just really exciting to share that since 2015, the GOO program has raised just a few dollars, under $21,000 have been paid out to folks who've recycled just under 2 million wrappers. And so this adds up. I mean, that's very, very meaningful. And you can, any charity, any 501c3 registered charity, or any school in the country. And if you have a charity, you know, that you'd like us to highlight also, and we'd love to highlight your charity, by the way, let us know, because then we can also recommend certain places for folks to donate if they've achieved some points and they may not know where they would like to give it to.
I love
that
it.
is totally amazing.
Yeah. No, it's really fun, you know, like we have like school teachers, for example, who may sign up for a couple of different recycling programs with their kids, you know, to teach reduce, reuse, recycle, and, you know, raise, you know, maybe $10, you know, over a few months. And then you can go and you can give it to different organizations. You can see that action really manifest beyond just the, you know, physically keeping the waste out of landfills and having it recycled.
I got a goal then. We're going to collect, I mean, now I want people to eat as much as possible on the race course so we can collect the packages and that's really cool that you can donate to any nonprofit. I'm definitely
That's
gonna
right.
go list Be Good and let everyone know in our community about that. That's really cool.
Well, and totally on, we'd love to highlight Be Good. So please, get in touch with me and we'll make sure we feature it so that people really hear about it and get it out in the network. I mean, all the folks there's about 250 million people who engage with Terracycle around the world. And that whole group has raised today just under $50 million in this approach. So it's with generous support from companies like GU and others, it really does add up. And it's amazing to see, how little tiny steps can go a long way.
I mean, you didn't really need to go to college, did you? You figured this out in your dorm room and you really set yourself up for your career. That's really amazing. What a good idea.
Well, thank you. I think, look, I give all the credit to, the amazing team that's behind us. And I really think it's purpose to me. And I think, this is purpose on whether you're doing athletics, whether you're in business, whatever it may be. If there's purpose, it really gives a lot of tailwind and a lot of ability to, rise above and then also have great, wonderful folks supporting all the way through, whether it's, companies like GU who help fund these programs or the people out there who collect. I mean, everyone has to come together to make it work.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, Tom, you were mentioning something that I wanted to touch on too.
Yeah.
So everyone is now aware of GU's program. So our big goal is to take any nutrition wrappers, any single serve wrappers, and keep them out of landfills. And there are many other brands who also do not have items that are municipally recycled. And yes, that's where Terracycle comes in. So Tom, do you have any other examples of programs that people should look into? Because all you can do is go to www.terracycle.com. You can type in different waste streams and see different free brigades to join. And I'll let Tom take it away with some of the cool programs and some that are very surprising. I saw somebody put in there, can you upcycle cigarettes? And I'll let Tom take that away too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. And I want to take a step back, so that folks understand how these, work, because, the key step back is what makes something locally recyclable. And what tends to make something locally recyclable is not whether a garbage company can recycle something, which is, I think, what we typically think. Instead, it's what they can recycle at a profit based just on the material value, which tends to be large objects. So, if you're going with with a more condensed product or something on the go, you're not going to be able to carry it around in a large bottle or aluminum can. So it tends to be larger objects like soda bottles or detergent containers, things of that nature that garbage companies can make money on. That's the key question. So what makes inversely something more challenging to recycle is if the economics aren't there. So through funding like from GU and other organizations, these programs are free, not because they really are free, but because sponsors like you help cover the cost of shipping and processing, minus whatever the recycled materials that you saw earlier are able to be sold for. Now, if you go to Terracycle, first and foremost, check out all the free programs. There's hundreds of them for just about anything that may be running through your life. Now, if we haven't been able to find a sponsor, or maybe a program is full, we do have this platform called Zero Waste Boxes, where you can purchase a solution, whether for your business or your home. And when you see the price, sometimes I do agree we're trying to get these prices lower, but this is the cost of being able to collect and process this waste, and this is what the wonderful and generous companies like GU support. So, it's really important to note that this is like voluntary product responsibility taking place. Now, there was the question on cigarettes. Yes, I mean, we do some crazy waste streams. We have national recycling programs for cigarettes in a number of countries, including the US. There's free programs there. We've actually will, this year, collect and recycle our billionth butt, which is... I was going to say pretty exciting, but I would say also scary at the same time. Cigarettes are the most littered waste stream in the world. And by the way, the answer to cigarette recycling is not Terracycle, it's don't smoke. And if you don't smoke, there will be no butts on the ground. But we've invented some really cool technology to be able to shred them, compost the organic components, the ash tobacco paper, take the filter, make that into things like ashtrays or railroad ties, so on and so forth. Everything, we have now recycling programs in Japan and Holland and France for dirty diapers. You'll soon see some of that coming to the US, or, all sorts of different things. That's the optimistic piece, is things can be recycled, but we need to be supporting through our decision on what we buy, companies that care about these topics and are trying to lean in and support them, because we are living in a garbage crisis right now. And I'll just conclude on this one point on this particular piece is that I think, one of the most powerful actions that we take every day, multiple times a day, that really determines the future is we constantly vote for the future with what we buy, but also what we don't buy. And I think we should really think about that as probably the most important action that we take. And let's really vote for the future we want with those decisions, because companies will listen and they will evolve to whatever it is that we want to see tomorrow.
Yes, very, very important point. Sorry for that cart cruising by behind, but yeah, I think to build upon that, I saw somebody had put a comment in right below, and yes, one thing that I forgot to mention is we also do make a 15 serving flask. So like Tom said, talk to companies. If they hear it enough, people have said, like, how about a big goo to put in a reusable flask? So this is also Terracyclable. Once you're done with this, you can put it in your bin and ship it back to Terracycle. And another thing that we've done as an organization, specifically with trail racing, when we send our drink for Encores, instead of sending thousands of cups, even if they're compostable cups, we have partnered with HydroPack to make reusable cups too. So those are just two other ways that we're looking to be a bit more sustainable. And ultimately, like we said, right now we do still create single serve packages. So our solution is to work with Terracycle, and we really encourage all of you out there to take a step and join us in our Terracycle brigade.
That's awesome, Celia. I really appreciate Goo's commitment as well. As an athlete, I love the product, but I also really love the continued evolution to do better and to be responsible and to be a leader in this part of the industry. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you to everyone, Celia, for helping to champion this for now 6 years. It's unbelievably amazing, and I really look forward to where this will go. I mean, the world is the next this time we're living through, I think, is really going to be marked by how we treat the environment. I mean, that's going to be the key question. That's going to affect us and our children and their children, and I'm very optimistic that there can be some great solutions if we really think about how to push the envelope. And this is a big part of it. And it's also important for everyone who's listening and joining us in this conversation today to thank you for your comments and for taking part and for being a part of it. Because, with all of us, all we can do is offer choices, but folks have to go out and show that it's important so that people notice, and then other companies get involved. And that's how we start creating a movement.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you both for joining. I want to leave all of us with just a few takeaways to think about. First of all, I am really excited to report that in 2020, the year that there were very few events, we actually had our highest collection year ever. So we collected 449,000 packets. People really were starting new habits being at home. So they were thinking about collecting their wrappers and sending them in. So I really encourage all of you who have tuned in today, 3 easy steps. 1, start a new habit. Start thinking about how you can collect your wrappers and think about where you will have your little collection bins so that you never have an excuse to throw these wrappers in landfill. 2, inspire your community to join in too. You can be what we like to call, we have little angel wings behind me, the Terracycle Angel. If you see our Goose Sprinter around, come take a fun picture with our Terracycle Angel wings. 3, not only visit Terracycle's website to join our Performance Nutrition Brigade, but we're encouraging you to come to our website because we really want you to recommend local run shops, local bike shops, organizations. Somebody here in the comments, thank you, had said, like, how about like at gyms or Orange Theory? Yes, we have a form now on our website. Very easy, gooenergy.com/Terracycle. We have a form. So recommend a drop-off point, because that's one thing we really want to do is encourage more organizations to get on board as drop-off points. Like Tom mentioned, we want to send in heavier shipments. So that's a good way also to go visit some of your favorite local shops as well. So those are my 3 tips. What we like to say at GOO is not today, landfill. So we really hope that you will join us in this Terracycle Performance Nutrition Brigade to help keep all wrappers out of landfills. And I really, really want to thank you, Tom, for your time and for your passion and for bringing Terracycle to life, because you have greatly helped us at GOO reach some of our sustainability goals. And Rebecca, we couldn't do this without you and your incredible voice in the endurance community. So thank you all for joining. And we will post this on our Instagram channel to watch, and also have it on YouTube as well. We welcome any and all questions, and we cannot wait to welcome new Terracycle Angels into our nutrition brigade.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, Celia. It was a great pleasure to be with you today. Thank you, everyone, for joining the conversation as well.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks,
Thank you,
Celia.
guys.
Be good.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.